Good afternoon and welcome to the March 10th regular meeting of the City of Glendale Commission on the Status of Women. Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Burns.
Present.
Commissioner Devine.
Here.
Commissioner Kajayan.
Present.
Ex officio Mirsahanian.
Here.
Ex officio Sahakian.
Present.
Commissioner Wiseman.
Here.
Chair Miller.
Present. Thank you, Ms. Hidalgo. Next item on the agenda, please.
1A, report regarding the posting of the agenda. The agenda for the March 10th, 2014 meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside of City Hall on or before March 7th, 2014. At item 2, introductions and presentations. At A, Historic Women, Joanna Lakehorst, Chair of Friends of Rock Haven.
Thank you, Ms. Hidalgo. I'd just like to do a brief introduction for Ms. Linkhurst. Ms. Linkhurst is a lifetime resident of La Crescenta and a history enthusiast. She's a mom for two and is a docent at the Autry Western Center and head of the Friends of Rock Haven, a volunteer group who dedicates time to helping the city clean the inside of the buildings and provide tours for the historic facility. Thanks for being here with us.
Good evening, Chair Miller, commissioners, staff. My name is Joanna Lakehorst. I am head chair of the Friends of Rock Haven, and I'm very excited to be here tonight to let you know a little bit about local historic lady by the name of Agnes Richards. Agnes Lipinski Travis Richards was a difficult woman to get to learn about. I read many articles about her, and when I started to dig a little bit further into her, I learned from an interview with her granddaughter that she liked to make up stories. So when you can't figure out the truth and the legend sounds better, you go with the legend. So I will tell you that she was born in the Midwest, educated in Germany, where she lived with her grandparents and traveled a great deal. She returned to finish high school in Nebraska, I believe it was, and she attended college at Creighton University, where she obtained a degree in psychology. You do the math, this is a woman born in 1880, and she, around 1912, got a college degree in psychology. She marries Mr. Travis, and 3 days after their child is born, he is killed. So she sends her son to live with her mother while she goes to work. The money that she earns by baking bread and selling it, she puts herself through nursing school at Cook County Hospital in Chicago. She then goes to serve with the Red Cross in World War I. When she returns, the doctor that she served under invited her and several other nurses to come out to Los Angeles to serve there too. This is our lovely Agnes. That's, I consider, the Downton Abbey photo. It's fabulous. She serves at Patton State Hospital for a little while, and then she goes over to LA County Hospital for about a year. It's told that she was a superintendent for a bit. She earned her RN degree, 1922. She then decides that because of the horrible treatment of mental patients at the time, particularly women, she's going to open her own place, a place by women, for women, and it's going to be a home-like setting for women with mild mental and nervous disorders. She finds a lovely little house in Verdugo City. She starts with 3 or 6 women. Within a year, it grows to 20 women. She's offering something wonderful that everyone knows. And one interesting thing about her, not just that she is remarkable, but the women that followed her are also remarkable. There was Billie Burke, actress and wife of Flo Ziegfeld. Another Follies girl came out, several Follies girls actually came out, but one of them in particular came out to be a producer. She was running her own life. I read a little bit about some of the other ladies that stayed there. There was one fabulous story about a lady who was a bootlegger from Canada into the United States, who also claims that she dated the president of Mexico, but she was a little too vocal about her disapproval of man's inhumanity to man, so that relationship didn't last. Remarkable Woman starts a place that draws other remarkable women to be taken care of in such a way that they are going to be rehabilitated. This is not to lock them away. This is not to give them lobotomies. This is to give them healing. She builds a beautiful place that she then hands on to her granddaughter, who continues to grow into a marvelous place. She, in the 1950s, begins traveling. She leaves it in the hands of her granddaughter, but when she's home, she's in charge, naturally. She sends home things like rugs and garden ornaments and various things to continue to decorate the place and make it absolutely lovely. But this woman, she isn't just satisfied with just this little place and the up to 120 women at a time. She also was president of the Junior Symphony Orchestra of California, organized the choir at the Holy Redeemer, organized and was president of the Altar Society, and continued to help donate the organs to the Holy Redeemer. She was a member of the Children's Hospital Auxiliary and had a room named for her at the La Cañada YMCA. She held membership in the La Cañada Thursday Club, LA Breakfast Club, Women's Auxiliary of California, Opera Guild of Southern California and San Francisco, was a member of Town and Gown, need to look that up, Women's Committee of the Philharmonic, Ballet of Los Angeles, Toastmasters Club, Pasadena Athletic Club, and one of the articles claimed that she was shy and humble. She came with what I heard was only about $800. She built this place from one little building into 12 buildings, 3.5 acres, continued to purchase property around to be able to expand the place. She never did anything with the rest of the property, but it was there for her granddaughter to be able to sell, to be able to continue Rockhaven when the money was needed. One of her social events. She gave these ladies dignity. She was just a remarkable human being. I just find her, for her time, very strong, very, very impressive. And the legacy that she has left is this beautiful area where women were taken care of by women. The women that were there were taken care of. The women that served there were taken care of. Stories that I heard about nurses that worked there that felt like they were given advantages to move ahead themselves. And everyone was respected by Mrs. Richards and Pat Travis. And just remarkable person for her time and for the area that we live in that has left us this beautiful place with the memory of how at a time when there were many sanitariums, both for respiratory issues and mental issues, this one was a loving, home-like place for rehabilitation for women. Very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and also that the tour that you provided to the commission earlier this year. Could you talk about some of the other women that you've had that are known in public and it's public knowledge?
That were there?
Uh-huh.
Peggy Fears was the lady that came out to be a producer. Marilyn Monroe's mom was there. She's not one of the stronger women, but one of the more infamous women because of her mental status. She kept trying to escape several times, but rather than go out a knee-high window, she made a very dramatic escape by tying sheets together and going out a very tiny window in the closet of her room. Made it all the way to Shadow Hills before they brought her back again. But she is one of the ladies that when her daughter died and the money was no longer coming in, Agnes and Pat kept her. She wasn't kept in the individual room that she had been used to, but it didn't matter if the money wasn't coming in. They were going to take care of her anyway.
The witch from The Wizard of Oz, right?
That was Billie Burke, yeah. She was married to Flo Ziegfeld. I read...
I know her as Glenda.
Right. I should have worn my button. She had little biographies. There was a little newsletter. And several of the ladies perhaps were just considered housewives. One of them was a great musician. But everybody was involved in the world in some way. One worked for the Election Commission of Los Angeles. One was involved out in South Pasadena. These were all strong women that were attracted to this place and were well taken care of.
It's wonderful. Commissioner Kajoyan?
Thank you for this information. I was toured with our Chair Miller. I like to congratulate all women because this month is National Women's History Month. Congratulations to all women. And as we know that Mrs. Obama, our First Lady, she joined the Deputy Secretary to honor International Women of Courage. And I like to quote in her speech what she said. When we see these women raise their voices and move their feet and empower others to create change, we need to realize that each of us has the same power and that same obligation. I like these words. And also, I was reading, and the theme of this year is celebrating women of character, courage, and commitment. Thank you.
Commissioner Devine?
As a member of Friends of Rockhaven, what are your hopes and dreams for Rockhaven?
Oh, goodness. There's hopes and dreams that, since we do have the advantage of it being owned by the city, that the city will retain it and use it for the city. It could be a park. I would love a community center, a place for art. All of us keep dreaming about weddings on that gorgeous lawn once we get the lawn back. Most of all, what I would like is public access, because this place is an absolute oasis. Marvelous buildings built between 1921 and 1939 that are still in really good shape. I've had people come and some of them say, oh, you got to look out for this, but most of them say, I can't believe they're in such good shape for as old as they are, that Glendale is taking such good care of them. So ideally, the public will be able to have access to this wonderful oasis that's in the middle of Virginia City.
So now it's only open on certain dates.
It's only open when Glendale gives us permission to give tours. It's not open to the public. We're only able to give tours to specific groups.
Student ex officio Sahakian?
I just want to mention that I was on the tour as well, and it was just so great to see that you are still keeping all the rooms as they are, and just the stories. I always remember the stories that you told us on that tour, and it's just so great, and I want to congratulate you on that. And hopefully in the future, the entire city will have a chance to tour the grounds and see just how beautiful it truly is. So thank you.
Thank you.
Student ex officio Mirza Haqqanian?
Yes, I wanted to ask you, do you think that Glendale was a player in her success such a long time ago? Because she was a lady and she wasn't considered very powerful back then, and people didn't like the idea of a leading lady. So do you think Glendale was slightly feminist back then?
I would imagine. It was definitely a male-led.
That's good that it's carrying on today.
But like Commissioner Kajoyan was saying, this is a very strong and courageous woman. This was no wilting flowers. She knew what she wanted to do and needed to do, and went ahead and did it.
She got down to it.
And when she came to Verdugo City, the beautiful area of Glendale, she saw the oak trees and the green verdant hills, and she knew that that was going to be the perfect place to be able to offer these women the rehabilitation that was going to benefit them.
Wow. Thank you so much.
One other comment regarding the tour that we took. I remember on that tour you also spoke about someone that used to cultivate the gardens, and they used to do it, I believe it was at their cost, correct? Were they an employee?
Ivan Cole was hired by Patricia Travis. And that's another wonderful thing that Agnes did, is when she saw how he came in and he knew how to take care of the oak trees, and he knew how to take advantage of the area, what would grow in the shade, what would grow in the sunshine, what was going to be best and most beautiful in this area. He came to her and said, I would really like to be able to get off a little bit early and go to Pierce College to take some more classes. She paid for them. There were times when they paid for his vacation to Hawaii with his wife. When he retired, that was his gift. They took care of everyone that was a part of them. A great story, I got contacted on Facebook by a gentleman who talked about how dear Mrs. Richards was to him, because his grandmother worked there, and Mrs. Richards loved working with her and became involved with her family. And when his father was injured, she took care of the family, helped get him back into work, and when he was killed, because he was a pilot for the Air Force, paid for everything, took care of the family, took care of the funeral, and managed to help them all out. She's just, the generosity of this woman that I keep hearing the stories from people who worked there, from people who knew her, just always really impresses me.
It struck me upon seeing what used to be the gardens and knowing, although the property in and of itself irregardless of the gardens being kept up, is a beautiful property.
It really is.
Quite beautiful. But seeing those pictures, it really struck me, are there any historian groups? Are there any groups that can help participate with the Friends of Rockhaven are there grants available, anything like that whatsoever?
There would certainly be, absolutely. But Glendale has to decide what they need to do with the property first. And as soon as they let us know, man, I've got my feet on the ground. We've heard from people from Thomas Paine that are aching to get in there to put in California native plants and special gardens. I know there's Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts that would love to be involved. There is a group over in Highland Park at the old Lummis home that has been able to sustain this. It's owned by the Los Angeles Parks and Rec, but leased to the Historical Society of Southern California, and they've been able to sustain it and reconstruct it through grants alone. So I know that wonderful things can happen as soon as it's decided what's going to happen.
Chairman?
Well, come back and tell us.
Oh, happily.
We'll all stay tuned. Student ex officio Mirza Haqqani.
Thank you. I had one more question. Do you have a Facebook page that maybe the public can like?
Absolutely. That's the best place for information. It's Friends of Rockhaven.
Oh, wonderful. Do you have some pictures up there?
Lots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You betcha.
That's all.
Thank you for your time, and thanks for coming to tell us about this beautiful property especially during Women's History Month.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you very much. Okay, next item on the agenda, please.
Item 3, oral comment. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or discussion. Staff may refer the matter to the proper department for investigation and report.
And for this section, I have one speaker. It's Kathy Lefkowitz. You're going to speak to us about Bras for a Cause.
What is that?
Good afternoon, Chair Miller and Commissioners. I'm Kathy Lefkowitz, and I represent Seroptimist International of Glendale. And if there happen to be any other Seroptimists in the room, they could come stand with me, I suppose. Okay, I'm here to invite all of you to our annual event. It's called Bras for a Cause, and we're on our 11th year. And this year, thank you, Paula. This year, we're really excited because we're celebrating women throughout the ages. Now, that means we've asked participants to decorate bras to celebrate women throughout the ages. They don't need to do that. They can decorate a bra any which way they feel like it, but that is our theme this year, which I think is appropriate. It promises to be a very entertaining evening. I think several of you have attended in the past, and if you haven't, I would highly encourage you to. We have a display of decorated bras. This is one of Betty Boop, and I thought it was adorable, so I brought it along. A lot of us keep decorated bras in our office because it raises awareness and it raises communication. It's like, what's that there for?
This one's from Senator Lou's office.
It is. And that way we can talk about breast cancer and breast cancer awareness and get gals in for mammograms that might otherwise not be going. I first introduced the idea, over 11 years ago to our board, but prior to even getting permission from our board to go forward with this, I had a visit from a seroptimist from Israel. And I said, well, I'm kind of thinking that maybe we'll decorate bras for a fundraiser. And she loved the idea so much that their club sent this beautifully decorated bra our very first year. It was actually rejected by FedEx. And they had to do another one, and they had to call me for an explanation of what was actually being shipped to us. But it's just beautiful. It's two doves holding an olive branch. And I bought that so I could always have it. So the purpose, as I mentioned, is to raise awareness and also funds. And our funds are distributed to our 3 local hospitals, Glendale Adventist Medical Center, Glendale Memorial Hospital and USC Verdugo Hills Hospital. And then the balance of the funds are given to women's organizations in our community that help women and girls. And it's on, I gave you all, I hope you all have your invitations. The event will be on April the 5th at 6 o'clock at the Glendale Hilton. And we're honoring Donna Heckler this year with a special support award. And it's not too late to decorate a bra. If anyone is interested, they could contact me, and I can get them a torso to work off of.
I think a Rockhaven bra would be.
I was thinking of... I'll give you a torso before I leave. Anyway, it's not too late, but you can also look us up on our website. It's www.seroptimistglendale.org. And you might be highly entertained there, too. You can look up past Bras for a Cause entries. And okay?
See you all there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
I'm just
Comments?
jokes. Do you have all sizes of this?
Yes, actually, usually all different sizes come in.
And we do just want to make sure that everyone knows we do have an advertisement that we put forth every year in your booklet. The commission, as you can see, we of course have Commissioner Devine, who is very involved with the Seroptimists, but we also, as a commission, are very supportive of the like-mindedness work that we do. I'll also let you know, April 5th, I'm going to be in Baltimore, so I will support in some way, either through sending private bidders or something, but I extend to you my best wishes.
Thank you. You've always been very supportive. I appreciate that.
As well. Thanks for coming. Okay. Is there anyone else that we have that wants to address the commission at this time? Seeing that we have no other speakers for this agenda item, the item is closed. Next item on the agenda, please.
Item 4, consent items. At A, approval of the minutes of the regular commission meeting held on February 10, 2014.
Are there any changes that the commission would like made to the minutes, or is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
And seeing that it appears we have consensus on this, we'll move forward. Next item on the agenda, please.
Next item is item number 5, action items. At A is an update on Sexual Assault Awareness Month activities. At 1, motion providing direction regarding proposed activities.
Ms. Hidalgo, if we may, I'm going to take an item out of order because we do have a speaker here in the audience. So if we could hold the business agenda item 5A and instead take 6A, which is a report, and invite Ms. Terry Deaver to our podium, please.
Certainly. For the record, it's item 6, reports information only. It's 6A, update regarding the film screening of misrepresentation during Women's History Month. It's an oral report.
Good evening.
Could you actually just provide a brief update, Ms. Alexanian?
Sure. The information that was, the misrepresentation, the film that the Commission has sponsored along with the Brand Associates has been set for March, and I apologize, I don't have the date in front of me, but Terry Deaver was here to provide the information and updated information, and we do have a video that we will play, a short video of the film Misrepresentation.
Thank you, Ms. Alexanian. The date that we have before us is March 25th. We're sort of tag teaming on this. I have to give it up a little cheer up for Ms. Alexanian before we go to this video because I was supposed to do that report. So thank you for that. And now if we could go to our video.
Just 1 second.
The media is the message and the messenger.
When is it going to be enough?
There is no appreciation for women intellectuals. It's all about the body, not about the brain.
You all saw the photo from the weekend of Hillary looking so haggard and looking like 92 years old. Breast implants. Did you have them or not?
If you waterboarded Nancy Pelosi, she wouldn't admit to plastic surgery.
I have close friends that will go to the bathroom and put on like 10 pounds of makeup, and you're at school to learn.
I remember 5th grade, I was worrying about my weight, and now I'm in 9th grade, I'm still worrying about my weight.
As a culture, women are brought up to be fundamentally insecure.
Media creates consciousness, and if what gets put out there that creates our consciousness is determined by men, we're not going to make any progress.
Little boys and little girls, when they're 7 years old, an equal number want to be president of the United States when they grow up. But then you ask the same question when they're 15, and you see this massive gap emerging.
We're shortchanging voices that are urgently needed in public forums from ever getting to the table.
As the most powerful country in the world, if you're not standing for the right values and for the right principles, that's a loss for the world.
You get a woman in the Oval Office, most powerful person in the world, what's the downside?
You mean besides the PMS and the mood swings?
I don't know how we survive it. I don't know how we rise above it.
I tremble.
You can't be what you can't see.
It's extremely important for women to be writing their own stories and giving them to people to really emotionally become impacted by.
The media can be an instrument of change. It can awaken people and change minds. It depends on who's piloting the plane.
My heart keeps beating like a hammer.
Good evening, Chair Miller and Commissioners, staff. I am here from the Associates of Brand Library and Arts Center. I am on that board and here to provide you with some updates about the program on March 25th that you're co-sponsoring, and also to invite the public to come out for this free event. And as you can see from that clip, it's quite compelling just in that tiny little piece. It tells you a lot about what this film is about and why it's important to see it. I'm really excited to announce as well, I don't think we had this information last time, but our speaker following the film is Dr. Carolyn Heldman, who you saw a clip of her in the film right there. She is the chair of the politics department for Occidental College and a political commentator, an accomplished speaker in her own right. You can find a TEDx talk of her on this topic if you search that on YouTube. And so we're really excited to have her for that. We're hoping that, again, that the public will come out. This is a program of the Associates of Brand Library and Arts Center's Real Art Film Series, and we're thrilled, of course, to have your championing of this program with us. And it will be held at the Glendale Central Library, which is at 222 East Harvard Street, and there is free validated parking through the library. The program begins at 7 p.m. on the 25th. For those who may have seen the film and want to come a little bit later, the talk afterwards should begin around 8:30, and you're welcome. The public is welcome to come for that as well. Also want to give you some updates just on the outreach in general. There is a Facebook page under the Associates of Brand Library and Arts Center where you can like the page, you can share that event. It's out in the Crescenta Valley Weekly Calendar. It's being shared broadly. Lexus of Glendale shared it out there amongst the community, which is great. We'd like to see our businesses and others get behind these types of projects. It's on the Glendale Arts Community Calendar. And among other places. Another thing that we wanted to put forth, unless there is an objection, the Brand Associates typically donates the films that we purchase with funds, in this case both the Commission and the Associates, to the library so it can be on hand for other viewings as part of this whole thing. There's a curriculum that comes along with this film and the purchase that was made so that it can be available. What we'd like to be able to do is donate that in the name of Dr. Carolyn Heldman in honor of her participation in this event for us. And I don't know whether that's something that needs to be formally approved, but would like to put that forth that we can do that on the 25th on the event night. And beyond that, if there's other questions or anything that I might have left out that we need to inform our public about for this event, again, we're hoping that men and women, educators, students, that the entire public will come out for this opportunity. And it's a great message. It's something we want to have people talking about in the community and making change, which is the other thing. We don't want to leave people with just a sense of despair of any type, but really be able to give them the tools to move forward in the community and make some change in the future with regard to how the media represents women.
Terry, specifically to your question regarding the film in the name of Dr. Carolyn Heldman, while we don't need a formal motion or we don't need to agendize it because we've already agreed as a commission to co-sponsor this with you, what I would just open it up to our commissioners is if anyone has comments not in support of that, we would let you know that. Otherwise, given that we've moved forward in this co-sponsorship, I think you're good to go.
Great.
We are Commissioner Devine.
I met a mother of one of our former commissioners, ex officios, Jill Hennicutt, and she is now at Occidental. She is majoring in political science, I believe. She went back to Yale to take part in a workshop about politics. She worked on Obama's. Girls, I'm telling this for our ex officios so you can see how this can help you out. She worked on Obama's campaign, fundraising, and she's already been asked to work on Hillary's campaign if Hillary decides to run. And she has this professor and loves this professor, and she has also sent an email, I believe, to Ms. Alexanian that this film can be shown to high school girls and classes, and that I think I didn't realize we were going to donate this to the libraries. I think that's a great idea, and perhaps the high schools, some of the teachers will become aware of this, and maybe that can be part of our job to make them aware of this film and show it for the girls in school. Great.
Thank you for that. And that was one of our goals, is really to reach out to the educators in our community, both at the college level, at the high school level. It is a 14 and older parental discretion sort of advised. There's just a few things that some people might find, nothing you wouldn't find in the media, unfortunately, but things that people might have different opinions about. But we do ask that the public and the commissioners to please, any contacts that you have with the GUSD and any of the colleges around, that you get the word out and ask people to share it and just let them know just how important it is. But thank you for that.
Could you also identify again the name of our Facebook page for the event?
It is the Associates of Brand Library and Art Center. You can search that on Facebook and you will find our page, and on there is the event displayed there for the misrepresentation.
And then each of us could actually share the link to that event on our Facebook and invite our own sorts of friends, of which I've done that already, I think. So our numbers are getting bigger. I will also advise that our neighbors in the city of Pasadena actually showed this as well, for any of us who have contacts there. And I know from watching their Facebook page, there were people who missed it and had hoped to see it, and so I went on their Facebook page to let them know that they could come on over to Glendale and check us out on March 25th at 7 p.m. So
thank you.
Student ex officio Mirza Haqqanian.
Yes, I had a question about the platform in which it's going to be viewed. How many seats? How big? I know it's an auditorium, so it's going to be pretty big. Do you know how many seats?
I don't know the actual capacity on it. It is the auditorium on the second floor of the Central Library. Okay. It's commonly used for public screenings. We've had some pretty big houses there, and we can add more seating as necessary up to what the fire marshal, of course, would allow.
Plenty.
But it's a pretty, I haven't seen it sell out to the extent, not as in ticket sales, but to be so full that we had to turn anybody away in the past.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I've been there. It's more than 250.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Thank you.
You know, just one other thing in terms of adding on so that our viewing public knows in terms of our work together on this, that in the press release that you worked on with our staff and such, it really is compelling, aside from the movie, to point out that only 35 women have served as U.S. governors compared to 2319, that's 2,319. That in 2011, only 11% of protagonists in films were female. That women hold only 5% of power positions in telecommunications, entertainment, publishing, and advertising. and that 53% of 13-year-old girls are unhappy with their body, and that this significantly increases to 78% by the time they are 17. So this is definitely a film that's going to start the conversation. Many people have heard about it, but it's really going to start the conversation. We're excited to be co-sponsoring this with you during Women's History Month. We're thrilled that you have brought on Dr. Carolyn Heldman from the very respectable university just to our college just to our east, Occidental. So we're excited about this, and we thank you so much for considering the commission as a good co-sponsor.
Thank you. It's been terrific. We really appreciate your support. And I will say I received an email from somebody recently, too, that said that they had seen it and actually had seen Dr. Caroline Hellman speak and were so compelled by her presentation and by the film, went out and purchased 2 copies of the film at that time and was really excited that we'd be showing it and it's helping to spread the word as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, and now we will go back to the regular agenda, starting with business agenda 5A, please, Ms. Hidalgo.
Sure. At 5 action items, A, update on Sexual Assault Awareness Month activities. At 1, motion providing direction regarding proposed activities.
May we have a brief report on this, Ms. Alexandrian?
Sure. Thank you, Chair Miller. We have a couple of activities planned for the month of April for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And just to remind the Commission, we did mention this last month, but there is a mayor's proclamation that will be presented to the Commission on March 25th, Tuesday, March 25th at 6 p.m. So we invite the Commission to come out to accept that proclamation. Also, we have self-defense classes that the Commission is hosting in April. We have 2 dates confirmed. April 9th at Glendale Community College from 6:30 to 9 p.m. and April 16th in the Police Community Room. The flyer that's up gives the RSVP information. The classes are free and they're open to all women and girls, and we encourage women and girls in our community to come out. I personally have witnessed Nelson Neo in action, and I think he's great. Hoping to be able to take one of these classes myself. The classes are open and free, but we did talk to Nelson Neo, as Commission had recommended last month, and we asked him if he would prefer a cap for the classes. And he said that he's okay, but if we do want to cap it, he recommended at 80 participants per class, but that he would be able and has been able to take over 100 people. So it's a popular class, and we do get a lot of RSVPs. But last month, Commission wanted to know the numbers at the different locations, so I did look that up, and we had 22 people at the Adult Recreation Center, 32 people at Glendale Community College, but 71 people at Glendale in the Police Community Room. So those were the numbers, and we had a total of 125 participants last year. Again, so this year the classes will be on the 9th and the 16th. The 9th it will be in the Glendale Community College, and the 16th will be in the Police Community Room. Just for the viewing public, I'd like to remind them for the Glendale Community College, RSVPs are important because of parking. We do need to provide parking passes to all the individuals who will be attending the class, so it's important to RSVP, whereas the Police Community Room, if there's room, we'll be able to take them, but for parking purposes, it is important to RSVP for the college. The third activity that the Commission will be sponsoring in the month of April will be Denim Day, and that is on Wednesday, April 23rd. Staff is working with Peace Over Violence and coordinating this and getting the pins that we will be selling as a fundraiser to raise funds that the Commission turns around and donates back to Peace Over Violence. The next activity, last month, staff reported that the Man's Inhumanity to Man Committee had approached the Commission and wanted to know if the Commission would like to do an event or sponsor an event during the Week of Remembrance. Annually, Glendale brings lights brings light to inhumanities, man's inhumanity to man, and we highlight programs, various programs that are presented by various organizations. And commission directed staff and appointed two of our commissioners, Commissioner Wiseman and Kojayan, and also ex officio Sahakian. And the committee met with the Man's Inhumanity to Man Committee, and we identified an event that the commission could host during the Week of Remembrance, and that is a panel discussion on human trafficking. The committee is proposing the panel discussion on April 23rd, and the event would be from 6 to 7:30, and it would take place at the Central Library Auditorium. The panelists that we have lined up so far, the staff working with the committee has been working with one of our speakers from January, if you recall, Anna Cho Finley, and she recommended a couple of speakers for us, and the speakers that we have confirmed interest and availability to participate are Delita Miller. She is a human trafficking victim and survivor and is now working as an advocate with Saving Innocence. It's a nonprofit working to end commercial sexual exploitation of children and restore the cultural values of innocence and human worth. That's their mission. And Delita is actually a child survivor of commercial sex exploitation and a mother of a trafficking victim. So she has firsthand experience with this and has been working hard since to help many women and children. She would be one of our speakers. Another speaker we have is Dr. Annalisa O'Reilly. She is a clinical associate professor at USC, and she is one of the few Filipina PhDs in social work, having chosen the field as a way to bring light to important social issues in the Filipino-American community. She frequently speaks out against sex trafficking, anti-militarization, and exploitive migrant labor. She would bring the academic side of this topic. We also have Lesford Duncan, and he is a child abuse prevention coordinator with the County of San Bernardino Children's Network, and he would bring the legislative perspective as he has worked on the passage of Prop 35, a successful ballot measure initiative increasing penalties on human traffickers and providing more services to victims of sexual exploitation. So he personally worked on that ballot measure, and he will bring the legislative side of and be able to speak from a legislative perspective on human trafficking. We also have Dr. Stephanie Powell, who's the executive director of Mary Magdalene Project, a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing intervention, life skill programs, and services to female victims of domestic trafficking and street prostitution. So each speaker will bring a different perspective and specialize in a different component of the topic. So we will have a diverse speaker panel. The committee was also looking to identify a short film that we would be able to present before the panel discussion, but unfortunately, because of the time constraint, we haven't been able to identify a short film. We are still continue to work with the potential speakers to identify a film, so if we are able to secure a short 20-minute film, we would be able to screen a film and then have a panel discussion with Q&A at the end. At this point, staff is looking for direction from the Commission on proceeding with planning the event and preparing flyers that we would share. And also, the YWCA is interested in partnering with the Commission in hosting this event. And in turn, they've invited us to co-sponsor an event that they are planning, and that would be the next item, with the YWCA, and that's raising awareness for AB 1433. The YWCA is working with their student club at GCC to present an event on April 25th as, again, part of Sexual Assault Awareness Month to raise awareness of this legislative bill that is introduced by Assemblyman Mike Gatto, requiring college campus law enforcement to report any Part 1 violent crime, which would be willful homicide, forcible rape, robbery, and aggravated assault, or hate crime reported on campus to be immediately reported to the appropriate police or sheriff's department unless the victim chooses not to, or requests that the report not be passed along to local law enforcement. So this is a new bill that Assemblyman Gatto has introduced, and the YWCA, in working with their student club at GCC, is organizing an event on April 25th, and it would be between 11 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. And the agenda would include an opening reception, which would have some kind of a visual display, something like the clothesline project that Commissioner Devine explained, which would be a display of T-shirts or some kind of clothes. Some people do denim, jeans, or T-shirts with messages from survivors or the family members of sexual assault victims or domestic violence victims. And it would include faculty members, faculty members from GCC or Peace Over Violence, and Assemblyman Mike Gatto himself would speak on the bill, and also the Police Chief Gary Montecuello at GCC. Again, this event is in progress and it's being organized, so there isn't, formal flyers are not ready to go out, but the Y has invited the Commission to co-sponsor the event. This completes the staff report, so staff is looking for direction from Commission on all the items and presented.
Thank you, Ms. Alexanian. Do we have any comments? Commissioner Devine?
First of all, Ms. Alexanian, this panel of speakers is outstanding. It's stellar. I mean, I'm so impressed, and I think it'll be really, really interesting, and that's fantastic. And I love this YWCA program as well, so I hope that the Commission will, okay both of these. They're fantastic. Good job.
Any other comments?
I concur with Commissioner Devine. I think both events deserve our support.
Student ex officio, Commissioner Sahakian?
Specifically talking about the human trafficking panel discussion and the film, we have to take into consideration that most of the films that the committee found were about an hour and a half. So I don't know if Commission wants to look into showing just a part of one of those films, or there are any films that are only 20 minutes long that we could incorporate. So we need to think about that.
Mm-hmm. I'll actually get with staff on some of the shorter films that I've seen from items that I've attended. One thing I would like this Commission to consider, at least in terms of it, that on the topic of human trafficking, for all intents and purposes, our partner, the Seroptimists, that is really a platform for them. So I might say that this Commission might consider also asking them if they would like to participate with us. This is one, if you read everything about them, this is a platform for them. So it's a good fit.
I think Ms. Alexanian, she contacted Seroptimists.
We contacted Commissioner Kojayan, Chair Miller. We did contact Seroptimists to see if they had a specific event that they were planning in the month of April, in trying to determine what kind of an event to plan. And at the time, they didn't have a specific event that we can partner with them on. But we would be more than happy to invite them to join us on this panel discussion. So, definitely.
If I might add, we're very busy with Bras
for a Cause,
so I'm
exactly.
Sure that's kind of the farthest thing from their mind is doing another event. But this would be, I think, something that they would be really interested in. And while I have the mic, I want to thank Commissioner Weissman, Commissioner Kajayan, and ex officio Sahakian for doing a great job on this, representing the Commission. Very good. Very nice.
Okay, are you looking for any action in the form of a motion, or are you looking, I think you have consensus here.
I think we have consensus that Commission is okay with the events and moving forward. So even the co-sponsoring the YWCA event and the panel discussion on human trafficking. Right. If there's consensus, I think that's enough of a motion for us to proceed, unless there's...
Human trafficking on April 23rd, and
25th.
The 25th would be the YWCA event. Okay. Then Scene, great work to the committee. This is going to be a really powerful month. And if you could also thank the YWCA on behalf of the commission. We've had a long relationship with them in events like this, so it's great. Okay, next item on the agenda, please.
Item 5B, update regarding the 10th Annual Jewels of Glendale Awards Luncheon. At 1 is a motion providing direction regarding the 2014 Jewels of Glendale Awards Luncheon.
And can we have a report on this, please?
Sure. An update from last month. Last month, we extended the deadline, the nomination period for the Jewel, Gem, and Gemstone Awards. We extended it to February 21st, and that really helped as we received a lot more applications for the Gem of Glendale and more for the Jewel and Gemstone. In total, we had received 16 applications for the Jewel of Glendale, 12 applications for the Gem of Glendale, and 2 applications for the Gemstone. It says 1 here, but 1 was submitted as a jewel that could have been considered as a gemstone. So although the report says 1 application for the Gemstone, there was 2 once we reviewed the jewel applications. The committee did meet. The committee for the selection committee for the awards did meet, and I'll turn it over to Chair Miller if you want to provide an update on the decision that the selection committee made, and then I will proceed with my report.
First off, this commission would like to thank Ms. Alexanian and Ms. Hidalgo for your staff leadership on this. There were a lot of applicants. We are very pleased that the viewing public submitted so many applications. Every single one that was received was quite worthy of this award. If we could have given one to everyone, truly, I know that sounds so cliche, but you read one and then you read the next, and then you think, wow, it's pretty fantastic to be in the city of Glendale surrounded by all these fantastic women and young women. So the future's looking bright here. Before I announce those that were selected, I want to thank our event chair, Vice Chair Burns, for working with me on the selection committee. It wasn't easy, and it took many, many days of many, many reviews. And with that, I'm first going to announce our Jewels of Glendale. In no specific order, other than, I believe, alphabetical, we have Shanisa Franklin, who was nominated by Essentia. We have Carmen Liberidian, who was nominated by the Armenian Relief Society. We have Carrie Ann Myers, who was nominated by the Door of Hope. We have Colonel Nancy Sumner, who was nominated by the YWCA and Glendale Memorial Hospital. We have Sona Yakubian, who was nominated by the EGBU High Green Young Circle. And we have Sherry Zahn, who was nominated by Suzanne Slaughter, Sue Wilder, and Jill Haynes. This particular year, this is our 10th year. In form that we have from previous years, if we received 12 nominees, we looked at possibly 5 or 6 awards. Similar here, we have 16 nominees or 15 nominees, and we looked at the 6 that we have. We also have for our Gem of Glendale a very outstanding student from Hoover High School by the name of Audria Amirian, who was nominated by her principal as well as another gentleman. We also, for our Gemstone of Glendale, we're very excited about this. It was really hard when we got to the Gemstone. We had 2 excellent candidates, 2 excellent women who have fearlessly served our country, and 2 women that we wanted to honor both of them. But as things go, we had to line up the criteria with what it was, and our decision that clearly fit the criteria was none other than Megeti de Sarkisian. She is a Black Hawk, and you may have seen articles about her in the paper. We are thrilled to have her help us in this inaugural role. Also, at our luncheon, there is the opportunity for the chair to do an award. Last year, I did not do the award. This year, I am going to do the award. And it was clear upon reading all of the applications. Although I do not know personally, up close personally, in a great deal, the woman that I selected, I realized upon reading her criteria as well as what she's contributed to Glendale that I do know her because her emphasis and her contributions to education and the education of women and elevating women is outstanding. And for that, I have selected Ann Ransford. And that rounds out our 10th year Woman of Courage Jewel Luncheon. And now we need to get out there and get our silent auction items and get the tables going and get... Now I can finally return the call to the potential singer who's been very low. So we have a lot of things that are planned this year under the leadership of, again, Vice Chair Burns. We appreciate her for that. So stay tuned and information will be going out. Now, am I turning it back over to you, Ms. Alexanian?
I think you encouraged everybody to continue, all the commissioners to continue working on sponsorship and silent auction. The packets were sent out to the commissioners, and it is available on the commission website. Staff has prepared and could prepare specific letters to mail out on behalf of the commissioners if you want to provide that list to staff. And just one more thing to add, Chair Miller did mention the ad and the Bras for a Cause program booklet, but I also would like to mention that we will also have an ad in the YMCA's luncheon. The Commissioner Devine or Chair Miller, somebody... Women of Excellence, Heart and Excellence, which...
Commissioner Devine's going to talk about in a little bit, right?
Yes.
That's it, unless Commission has further direction or different direction for staff.
Great. Okay. Any comments? Any comments regarding the Jules Luncheon? Any input? Yes. Commissioner Kajoyan?
I have a question about when you mentioned silent action. Is it time to talk about? Or
yes.
Are we going to have a vendors tables? Because I have a lot of vendors. They want to. No? Should I do that? No, I am just asking. Oh, okay. Thank you.
I have a comment on the luncheon. I think we better rent a bigger hall because we have some really great women that are being honored, and well, there are 8 of them. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Good women.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, please.
Next is item 6B, Commission on the Status of Women's 2014 Master Calendar of Events.
Okay, and as previously discussed already in our business agenda, we do have, next month is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We do have a number of events planned, starting with our lead-off on March 25th for misrepresentation, as well as coming to City Council for the proclamation to open the month. We then also will be having our self-defense classes, and again, that flyer is up on the website, Ms. Alexanian, or will be?
It will be. The flyer will be. We wanted to wait for the meeting tonight to make sure there were no other changes to the dates. It will be on the website tomorrow.
Great. So starting tomorrow, people could actually start signing up?
Yes.
Great. So our job is to do the outreach on that and to tell as many people as we can, combined with the wonderful work that we will be doing on the human trafficking on April 23rd and April 25th, the co-sponsored event on the bill that we will be doing with the YWCA. So that rounds out April. We'll be looking for a speaker for April as well. Okay. We're looking pretty busy. All right. If seeing nothing else, let's go on to the next item, please.
Sure. Item 7 is Commissioner Staff Comments.
Okay. Just a couple of things to start off. First off, since we last met, very soon after, on February 12th, I was invited on behalf of, because I was on the commission and the chair of the commission, I was invited to an event with the Armenian American Chamber of Commerce. And the Armenian American Chamber of Commerce, I didn't quite know what I was going for, but I did find out, and it was very exciting, that our fellow commissioner, Seda Kajoyan, was receiving an award for women in community service, and it's quite a big deal. She will be receiving this award next Friday, March 14th. So for any of you who are attending the AA, the Armenian American Chamber of Commerce, on March 14th, it will be at the Hilton Los Angeles Universal City. Congratulations. We're very excited. We also know that on February 27th, we were very fortunate to attend and see our fellow friends receive some awards. Many of us were there. Commissioner Devine was there. The Glendale Latino Association honored Mercy Velasquez as the Woman of the Year, Scott Ochoa as the Man of the Year, and my favorite employer in all of Glendale, and that would be Glendale Adventist Medical Center, as the Business of the Year. When we moved into March, for those of you who are pretty active on Facebook, I don't know how many times you saw people respond about, there was a lot of links to Women's International Day. Did you see that? And how many times you were tagged? To the point that one gentleman commented back and said, I'm sort of getting tired of hearing Women's International Day, and I let him know privately in a very fun sort of way that it was about time that when, no news is good news, and it might as well have as much attention as we can. Women's International Day happens everywhere. It's March 8th. It's global, celebrating the economic, political, and social achievements of women past, present, and future. And it is really just a great time to raise awareness. So for those of you who put that link on your Facebook page or tagged other people, that was great. On March 22nd, our friends at the Brand Art Library will be having a reopening. They asked us to make an announcement about this. Saturday, March 22nd, 6 to 10 p.m., brand new reopening gala. Please, if you want to find out information, go to glendalearts.org. glendalearts.org. There's also a number of ticket office or box office locations, but glendalearts.org will get you there, and you can find out information about their gala. Of course, we've already said that on March 25th we'll be getting together for misrepresentation. We hope that everybody joins us. And last but not least, I did want to send out congratulations to all of the people who are being honored in the State of the Cities and Awards Luncheon. And I especially wanted to send out a congratulatory wish and to my friend, Woman of the Year, Alyssa Glickman. So congratulations to her and to everyone who's being honored that day. It sounds like we're just going to have a great year of really highlighting a lot of the different people that are in Glendale. And aside from SETA, last but not least, aside from Commissioner Kajoyan's award, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, because this is kind of exciting, talking about Women's History Month and how the percentage between women who are involved or on boards that are actively served by men. I wanted to let you know that Vice Chair Burns, just a little while ago, was appointed to the the Southern California Broadcasters Board of Directors. And that's a pretty big deal, and we're very appreciative that she represents, as a woman on that commission. Thank you. It's a big honor. And with that, why don't we have you go next?
Broadcast. That sounds good. Excuse me. Veterans Village groundbreaking happened, I think, about a week ago. 327 West Salem, the groundbreaking ceremonies. So I believe they're looking at housing approximately 44 veterans when it's built. Then there was a fundraising lunch that many of the city officials attended, and this was for the son of Joe Wilkie. And I believe that tremendous amount of money was raised to help that family and hopefully help that little boy get well. I wasn't at the luncheon that you spoke about because I was at Women's Civic League. And then we had one book, one Glendale at the Glendale Library. Arbor Day, I'm going to let you talk about it. And Thursday morning, the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast at 6 a.m. Everybody's going to be attending that 6 a.m., right?
Yes. Yes, I'm attending.
That's good.
Who's our speaker?
Oh, it's Lucy.
Tilden?
Dallas.
Lucy.
Charlene
Tilton, yes. And her daughter is the musical presentation.
Oh.
That should be interesting, too. Looking forward to seeing you all at 6 a.m. You too, Iris.
Thank you. Let's see, Armenian Chamber of Commerce. Congratulations, Commissioner Kajayan. I also want to say that Sir Optimus International Glendale is getting an award for the Organization of the Year. So that's going to be a big celebration for a lot of people. Very nice. I attended with Chair Miller the Cancer Network Oscar Night put on by the Cancer Network, and Corinne Bagdasarian was the hostess for that wonderful event, which raises funds for women going through cancer treatment, and it doesn't go to research. It actually goes to women that are suffering with the disease. So it was a great event, and I congratulate Corinne Bagdasarian for that. I also want to announce that Commissioner Kajayan is also going to be receiving the YWCA Women of Heart and Excellence Award. This year, I'm really proud of that, since I nominated you. Okay, and it will be on Wednesday, April the 30th, at the, probably at the, where is it going to be? Does anyone know? It's going to be the Oakmont, usually at the Oakmont. So
it is at
please
Oakmont.
contact the YWCA for that. Congratulations, Commissioner
Thank you.
Kajayan. You're welcome. And on Arbor Day, well, not actually Arbor Day, but Glendale Beautiful had a ceremony of donating trees, which Commissioner Burns is a part of, and Ms. Alexanian and I were very honored to be given trees in our name, to have them dedicated by friends, and it's quite a treat to know that somewhere in this city there's going to be a tree that we can go and visit and say this is actually our tree. So thank you. It's just fabulous, and I was really moved by it, and I think Ms. Alexanian, she was surprised because she really didn't know she was getting one. I did know, but that was great. Yeah, and I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Student ex officios, Sahakian?
On March 8th, I attended the Armenian American Future Lawyer event at Southwestern Law School, and it was just a great opportunity to learn about the school and to meet the new dean, Susan Prager. So thank you for that. And yesterday, I attended the LA Marathon with the National Honor Society that I am a part of at my school, and it was just so great to see all of the people, whether it was their first time running a marathon or, I don't know, their second, third time, and they went through just hours and hours of training to be there, and it was just so wonderful, and I congratulate everyone who took part in that event. So that was my weekend.
All right. Student ex officio Sahakian, or Mirzahakian, please.
I wish we shared the last name.
Wouldn't that be so great?
On March, yes, we would. On March 8th, it was International Women's Day, as Chair Miller pointed out, and she gave a beautiful commentary on that. I want to speak about that, that it should be extended every day. The woman should be celebrated every day because she is such an amazing human being. And we should not forget to include all women, transgender women, binary women, women who partially identify as women. It's just a strong force that should be dealt with and should be recognized. And March 25th is misrepresentation. I encourage all of you who are watching to go to that because it's an amazing movie. It's really eye-opening. I mean, not like the movies that you've ever seen in movie theaters, and it wasn't played in movie theaters for very specific reasons. So you should go watch it, and thank you very much, ladies. That's all.
Commissioner Weissman?
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to say February 13th, I attended the CV Alliance-sponsored discussion of bullying prevention programs in school, including the Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting, sponsored by this organization, this commission. And this is the second of 4 public presentations at Crescenta Valley High School Library in the Alliance's Teen Trials and Tribulation series. The remaining sessions are March 27th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on teen suicide prevention, and then April 10th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on underage drinking and how it relates to you. These programs are free and open to the public, and please spread the word to parents. You don't need to be in the Crescenta Valley area to attend. Anyone in the area is welcome to attend. And I noticed there were plenty of empty seats, so I encourage you to let parents of teens to know specifically. And of course, we know girls are as susceptible to drug and alcohol abuse as boys, as witnessed by the recent presentation, My Lost Little Girl, where a mother shared her story of losing her Crescenta Valley High School graduate daughter to heroin addiction, and that's recent. So it's an issue we all need to try to increase awareness and help families learn how to cope with that. And the CV Alliance Partners Breakfast Meeting Friday, March 7th, had breakout sessions on substance abuse and how to prevent it, and Commissioners Kajayan and Devine and I participated in that. And it's an excellent networking opportunity. And then my husband and I volunteered on February 24th to work, and actually I moderated part of the Sunland Tujunga Neighborhood Council Candidate Forum in Tujunga, and then we worked as poll workers on March 8th that evening, and of the 35 candidates for the 21 positions on the Sunland Tujunga Neighborhood Council, the election of the candidates, 54% were women. And after the election, the results were that 57% of the elected council is women. And you can contrast that with our Glendale City Council, where we have 20% women currently. And if you look at the Los Angeles City Council, where there are 15 members, only one of which is a woman, which is just under 7%. So there's still a lot of work to do. And if anyone listening is interested in really grassroots democracy, these neighborhood council elections afford that, and they are still looking for more help. There are, I believe, 95 neighborhood councils in the city of Los Angeles, and they are having by region, they're having elections going on, and they will still continue through mid-May. So if you're interested in helping, and they do need people with language ability to help, and hinting, if you can look at EmpowerLA, that's EMPOWERLA.org for more information on how to volunteer. And it is really a lot of fun to do it. And then yesterday, I went to Cal State Northridge for a women's softball game because my nephew's granddaughter is on the women's softball team for the Charleston Southern University, and they were visiting at Cal State Northridge. And it really is, I have to admit, that was my first women's softball game to attend, and things have certainly changed since I was in school. There are so many more young women athletes, and I think that it's exciting, and so thank you, Title IX, and we need to continue to do that. And Charleston Southern University won against the Matadors, so go Buccaneers. And lastly, tomorrow, if anybody is looking for something to do on a Tuesday night when there's no Glendale City Council meeting, the ACLU Forum on Women's Rights is happening at the Hollywood Methodist Church, 6817 Franklin Avenue, Los Angeles, and you can RSVP www.aclu.socal.org, that's socal.org events, and to learn about women's rights currently. And thank you. That's all I had this evening.
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you that I receive a lot of emails for congratulating me from staff, from my friends, commissioners. Really, I appreciate for all encouragement emails. I would like to say that last Saturday, I participated in LA 5K marathon. Armenian Relief Society, we were 60 women. We participated, and it was very successful walk we done. And also on Friday, March 7, she mentioned I attended CV Alliance meeting, and it was good networking. Thank you.
Well, we've had quite the busy month. I do just want to close with two quick things. For this commission to consider and to contact staff, we want to thank Commissioner Devine on behalf of this commission for serving on the Safe Family Task Force for so long and representing the commission. We now have the opportunity to have any one commissioner that is available and that fits with your background and what you want to contribute to be our representative. So if that interests you, you can ask more questions about what it was like from Commissioner Devine. I know she's been quite passionate about it, and you can also talk to staff, and you can also call me. So if nobody's on the spot, just something to think about. And then I do want you to know that I would be remiss if I did not, during Women's International Month, give a quick little nod out to the woman who knows my history best, and that's my mother. She might not still be watching, but she always says she tapes it. So if she is watching, I do, and given that I have to at least give a nod to the Irish side of my family. So for all those women out there, for the women that know your history as well as your future, as well as the good friends and men that are in our lives. May you have warm words on a cold evening, a full moon on a dark night, and the road downhill all the way to your door. And with that, happy St. Patrick's Day on March 17th, and we will be adjourning this meeting at 6:55 p.m.